Hello, my name's Midge Gillies and I'm Academic Director of Creative Writing at the Institute of Continuing Education. I'd like to talk to you today about the idea of the Muse and writing in lockdown during this pandemic. Now, to me, a muse is a place or a person who inspires you, or it could also be a state of mind. And I've chosen this photo of Lee Miller because I think it's a beautiful photo and because she was often known as a muse for Man Ray, and she later became a very famous photographer in her own right. But I like this idea of a muse waking up inspiration within you. I often start one of the courses I teach at the Institute of Continuing Education with a quote from this book by Stephen King, the horror writer. It's the only book by him I've read, not because I don't think he's a good writer, it's just that I don't really like horror stories, but I do like this book a lot. It's a memoir about writing, and I like it because I think it's honest and down to earth, and it treats writing as a job. And I particularly think this quote here is really useful to think about. Don't wait for the muse. As I've said, he's a hard-headed guy who's not susceptible to a lot of creative fluttering. This isn't the Ouija board or the spirit world we're talking about here, but just another job like laying pipe or driving long-haul trucks. Your job is to make sure the muse knows where you're going to be every day from 9 till noon or 7 till 3. If he does know, I assure you that sooner or later he'll start showing up, chomping his cigar and making his magic. Well, for me, the muse is a woman and she's a non-smoker, but I think everyone has their muse. And I think this is a good idea to have in mind, that if we're comfortable and we have a regular place to write, then sooner or later something's going to happen. Having said that, I think it's important that we are as kind to ourselves as writers in these difficult times at the moment. And I thought it would be useful to share some of the tips that help me in my own writing. So the first tip is to be kind to yourself. So you might be someone who in the past has found it very easy to write 1,000 words a day or even 1,500. But I think you should lower your standards and think, okay, maybe 500 words is fine, or just a good sentence or a paragraph, anything that gets you into the routine of writing. I think it's also useful to think about how painters might deal with difficult times. And sometimes they think they just want to do the easy bits. They want to kind of fill in the green at the back rather than tackling something that's harder, like drawing or painting hands or part of a face. And I think that applies to writing too. So think about what you enjoy. You might like writing dialogue or description, or you might want to follow one character through rather than being a bit more disciplined about where he or she appears. And I think at the moment, you should just go with what you want to go and enjoy that and get into the swing of writing. So my third tip is to try writing in short bursts, because I think if you sit in front of a computer and think, yes, I'm going to be there for the whole day, it's difficult not to check your Twitter account or look at the latest news bulletin or kind of worry about the outside world. So I think you should sit down, and even if it's for just 30 minutes, really go for it and see what you can produce. I'd also recommend that you make writing and exercise something that are linked in your brain. And it has been shown that exercise is good for creativity. And you might take away, when you're going for a jog or a stroll, a kind of problem in your writing that you hope to solve. So it might be thinking of a name for a character or coming up with a motive for what they're going to do, and try and solve it on your stroll or your jog. And if you take a friend with you, you can bounce ideas off them and see if they like the idea of your character, the name, or if they think a motive is believable. Tip 5 is to read, but maybe try reading in a different way. Again, I'm finding it quite difficult to concentrate at the moment, so I'm reading shorter books, some of them very short. I'm reading short stories, and I'm listening to audiobooks because it can be really nice to be read to by a machine or another person. And I do think it's important to carry on reading because it will make you a better writer. So we're used to seeing this kind of call to arms to stay alert. Perhaps just for a bit of fun, it might be useful to think of it in a different way. So you might think A is aim for the easy win. So write something you enjoy. L might be lower your standards. Don't feel you have to write those 1,000 words a day. You can write just a sentence or a paragraph, and that's something to build on. Remember that exercise will boost your creativity. It will make you feel better. It will clear your head. It'll help you to solve problems in your writing. Try and read in different ways. So don't go for those giant, difficult books, and try writing in short bursts. So try and trick your brain into staying away from Twitter or news feeds for a while. So I hope that's been helpful, and I hope it's given you some inspiration and some things to think about in your own writing. I hope that I might meet you in person. Take care and enjoy your writing and reading.